What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland, being joined as always by Lauren Khalil. Lauren, what's up?
Got all my fingers, got all my
Oh,
toes. It was a good weekend.
okay, got your hair did, your nails did. Looking fan. What color is that? Would that be a like?
Blue.
Okay, it's just
Ugh.
blue, or has it got some like weird like?
No chrome.
No,
I appreciate that you knew that there could be that on it,
I
though.
mean usually it's something like midnight wave or some weird like
Ooh,
like some. It's blue. All right, don't get blue.
sparkling topaz.
That's right. There you go. And featuring Tommy Marquez. Tommy, how are you?
I also have 10 fingers and 10 toes.
Yeah.
No fireworks accidents,
That's
so
good.
good to go.
Yeah, we are all intact after a 4th of July weekend. Did you guys have a
hmm
good time?
Oh, yeah.
Low key? Where'd
Oh,
you get after it?
It was a bad day to be a hot
uh,
dog.
it was a bad day to be a dog. We talked about this a little bit on Q&A, but I went to a party for my best friend growing up's 40th, first person in our
Ooh,
group that turned 40.
oh,
I don't know if
man.
you remember this, Sean, when we went on the baseball road trip to the Midwest in the
Dude,
RV way back when he turned. That
I
was a
do.
decade ago.
Oh my god.
Well, this same person, he turned 40 now, so he's the first, and we were reflecting on how different these two parties were,
Mm.
because now there was 5 babies under the age of 2, and there was like 10 kids there total.
Oh, wow.
And we got there, and there was kids playing all over the floor that were young, within
Mm.
Miles's age. And we basically were just like, all right, here it is, the baby Thunderdome. Good
Baby
luck, son.
Thunderdome.
Like just sent him in there.
There you
And I
go.
was like, first thing, find a quick toy, establish dominance. You got this.
There you go. Nice.
But it was a blast.
Lauren, what'd you do?
I had a cookout. I went in a pool. I went on a boat. It was a great weekend.
Cool. I got three of those things, pool and cookout.
Ooh.
Not really any fireworks. Those are somewhat prohibited in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, I
Literally
imagine.
woods. Um,
You don't seem like a rule breaker either, Sean.
No, because I don't want to burn the entire place down. That is, you
Fair.
can get shot up here if you're caught like with any sort of firework. Like people are pretty hardcore about that.
Good rule to
Mhm.
follow.
But it's nice because my dogs don't hear it. It's like when I lived in town, it was I would have to about 8 p.m. just turn on something really loud, the stereo, whatever, just
Mhm.
to drown out the noise, and then like, it was over by about I don't know 11:30. But there's still some random idiot firing off an M80. But yeah, it was nice and quiet. It was fun. We had a good time. So, okay, well, we got some stuff we got to get to. We got some headlines we're going to run down. We have an interview with CrossFit Games rookie Lydia Fish that also features a little reveal at the end. So you're going to want to stick around for that. That was a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, we're going to get you just 1 week closer to the CrossFit Games. Then next week, I think we're really going to start diving into top storylines, things we're going to watch for the men and the women, because we are only what 2-3 weeks now.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, but before we get into news, we have a new sponsor.
Hey.
We want to thank our good friends Balance of Nature and their fruit and veggie supplements. You guys are going to love these things. In the whole pantheon, I think of the CrossFit ingredients or our nutrition recommendations. There's that fruits and vegetables part. I think a lot of us tend to I don't want
Mm.
to say skip it, but maybe we're not as, you know, diligent with that as we should be. Well, if you're like me and you're not getting, the veggie intake that you should be getting, well, Balance of Nature has you covered. They have a couple different supplements that you can take to help with that. Their veggie supplements have they're made and fruit supplements have whole fruits, vegetable spices, and fibers. Fruit supplement is made of ingredients like whole apple, whole papaya, whole mango, and whole strawberry.
Ooh.
Veggie supplements that they have made of ingredients like whole celery, whole spinach, the good stuff, whole cauliflower,
Mm.
whole shiitake mushroom. And then they have a fiber and a spice supplement that is made of ingredients like whole apple, whole psyllium husk, whole cinnamon, and whole turmeric. And all there are 47 ingredients of fruits, vegetables, spices, and fiber. So you just take these a couple times a day. It's going to make sure that you get all of your veggies and your fruit servings. And there's different ways, look, you don't have to just like take the capsule and swallow it. I mean, you can explore the space.
Yeah, you can open it up, you can mix it in some water, you could put it in your smoothie, your protein shake,
There you go.
or just, right down the chute with some water in the morning.
Yeah, but again, let's all be honest here with our nutrition. Veggies
Yeah.
and fruits are the first thing that's out.
Uh,
I'm getting my
Fruits
protein.
are
I'm good.
hard, but getting all the
The
vegetables
veggies is
in,
tough.
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough for me.
I mean, Lauren didn't even know what a papaya was. I'm kidding.
So if you go to
I'm still
balance,
not sure.
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to pick it out in a lineup.
it's the website is balanceonature.com. Let me just type this in again because I want to go to balance of nature.
.com. Yep.
There it is, balanceofnature.com. Okay. And you will enter the code TEF. Let me show you the website one more time because this is going to be the landing page just so everybody knows what we're talking about if you're watching this thing. Okay. It's
Get
balance
the
of
good,
nature.
good.
There it is. 31 ingredients from fruits and vegetables with balance of nature. See, it's been seen on different things. There's the products that we're talking about right there.
Mhm.
And they have some cool reviews, but go to balanceofnature.com and you can enter the code TEF and you will save 35% on your first order. So that's balanceofnature.com. You click around here, check out their products, see all the kind of cool, the great stuff that they have, and you will be set up. So there it is.
Save you save
35%.
35 and you get a free bottle of fiber and spice.
Nice.
Tommy, isn't your
So
dad an OG user of this product too?
he is.
Didn't he know about it?
He's Mr. Fiber and Spice himself.
I love
Awesome.
that.
Actually, that was my parents' 1-2 nickname back in the day, Fiber and Spice. I'll let you
Tremendous.
I'll let you guess which one with the man with the last name Marquez was.
Keep us on our toes. Thank you.
Oh man, I guess it would depend at what age too, because I'd say like probably till about 35 he was spice, and
He
then
was
now
Spice.
he's fiber. You
Now
know.
he's probably Fiber, yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
balanceofnature.com. We're super happy to have them on board. That's the website. The code is TEF, as all our codes are. Try to keep it simple, and you'll save 35% on your first order. All right. Let's get to headlines. So there's one that I just want to get to right off the bat here that actually we didn't talk about beforehand, but I've had a couple people message me about it, so I just wanted to get it out there. A couple people have asked me if I'm going to be doing the CrossFit Games this year.
Mm.
So there's good news and bad news. So the bad news is I'm not. The good news is they did ask me. Um, Unfortunately, just due to a scheduling conflict, I wasn't able to make it work.
Mhm.
But I talked to two people. Uh, I don't have their permission to share their names or share the stories, but I will say this: they were both very apologetic for what happened last year, although they didn't need to be because they're not the people I think who are responsible for what went down. Were very interested in having me back. I really tried to make it happen, but just given the scheduling, I'm just not able to do it. So I am going to help them with some pre-production and post-production stuff that they're working on. So happy to do that. But I just want to tell people like they were super nice when they called me and
Yeah.
they apologized for last year. And again,
Yeah.
the people who apologized to me, there was no need for them to apologize. Like they had nothing to do with what happened. So Chase is going to be in the saddle again. That guy's awesome, as we all know. He's going to do a fantastic job. So wish him the best. And there's some things coming up that I will be involved in. So looking forward to that. But just couldn't work out this year. Just had a scheduling conflict. That was it. But I just want to thank the people at CrossFit for reaching out. I really appreciate it. As I
Mhm.
told them, and as I'll say here, sitting in that seat and doing that job has meant more to me in my professional career than anything. And I really appreciated the opportunity to do it again. And hopefully down the road, there will be some more opportunities to, do some more stuff with them. So that door looks like it's open. And I just appreciate the way that they handled it this year. And I just want to thank them for the opportunity. But unfortunately, it's just not going to work out. But I will be watching as much as I can from home on Friday and some of Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, it's going to be,
Mm.
anyway, just wanted to get that out there because I don't want people to start crapping on them for something that's really my fault. So,
Yeah.
all right, that's out of the way. Okay, next thing, let's talk about the heat and outdoor event advisory that was
Mhm.
sent out to athletes because there's going to be one outdoor event in Albany, Tommy,
There is one.
Just one.
just one. So what is
Uh,
this? What's this document all about that was sent out?
yeah,
Enlighten
so it was
us.
I think it was twofold, right? So there was a like an athlete guide or packet that's sent to them as part of like the informational glut of stuff that's sent to athletes for games. But in addition, I believe there was correspondence between Wendy Guthrie, who's the the safety lead there, basically it was a kind of a, I don't want to say a one pager, but it was a breakdown of, best practices, advice, kind of some information about heat temperature, heat training, the layout of that event, and what to expect on that side as far as like, hey, the rowers are going to be out in the sun. That might be where you feel it the most. Here are the different heat management protocols we're going to have in place. Here are the cooling options that are going to be available to you. These are some ways that you can prep. Here's some data behind heat training, heat prep. And honestly, it was a lot of the stuff that basically the PFAA put together.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, it's meant kind of as a, I guess, safety precaution now put in place. Uh, Kind of everything from like average temperatures in Albany to
Mm.
what the potential highs and heat surges could look like if there was one. Um, Honestly, something that probably should have been in place,
For a while.
yeah, 15, yeah, 15-ish years ago, maybe
Yeah, I
close
mean,
to it.
because look, it got hot in Carson.
Yeah,
It got hot.
yeah,
You think back to, Murph in 2015 and, there were some, I mean, I even remember like 2013,
yeah,
it
oh
was
yeah,
pretty toasty. Like there were some really hot days out there. I
oh
wasn't in Texas, so I don't know what that felt like, but I know Wisconsin, there was a couple days in Wisconsin. My
Mm,
God.
yeah, it was
yeah.
so humid.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
even at 20, even I say 15 almost because even at 2010, like the finale, like out on the those mats that had been cooking in the sun at the time,
mhm.
when they were having to do the hand release push-ups during the
Oh yeah.
finale, like
Yeah.
people were getting torched. Same with the rig at the time too. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, just it's a super well organized document, something that's super beneficial to athletes. But yeah, I also think two things can be true. Awesome that they're doing it.
Yep.
Also something that should have been in place a long time ago.
Yeah. Hey, anytime anybody does the right thing, sure you can talk about timing, but you got to give them credit for
Yep,
doing the right thing, right? Okay.
for sure.
So that's that. Next thing we wanted to talk about, and man, I hate to say that this doesn't come as a shock, but Morteza Setigat, who had qualified for the CrossFit Games, was denied
Mm.
a visa. I mean, he's from Iran, so right away, that's going to be a little problematic um,
Yeah.
for the United States specifically. So he's not going to be at the CrossFit Games, uh, and he has been replaced by Thiago Luces.
Yeah. That's just unfortunate. Um,
Because
yeah, yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, but this is not the first time that Morteza has kind of had to navigate these waters.
Yeah, I mean, he finished second at the Far East Throwdown last year.
Yeah.
So it was a very similar scenario where wasn't able to get a visa, gotta have to work it out. In the past, we've mentioned this on the show. In the past, with Roman and even with Sam Briggs,
Mhm.
CrossFit has typically held that spot for that person, even in case of like a last minute something comes through. Now, this could be different. Obviously, if Morteza was like, I want 100%, I'm not getting a visa, it was denied, go ahead and move on without me. They probably could have cleared that with him to do the backfill. But in the past, they've always like kept that spot
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
athletes in those scenarios if there's a chance that it could pop up. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that. Like it's possible. Um, it just sucks for someone that's, qualified multiple times and
Yeah.
now can't go. Um, so yeah, I will say this, it just doesn't, I don't know if there's an end in sight for this given the current climate, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and two, when you think back to Roman and everything he had to go through, I mean, that process for him
Oh my god,
had
yeah.
to be started when it finally got through. That wasn't just like the normal run up. I mean, it was years in the making.
5 seasons.
Yeah.
He qualified in 2018.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I mean, given the current state of things, like it's too bad for Morteza because he's clearly a great athlete, he earned a spot, deserves to be here, but it seems that the farthest he's going to be able to go, at least in the next, in the near future, is qualifying round.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Unless
just
the games move overseas somewhere.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that is a very
that
good.
is so.
All right. Well, fingers crossed on that one for Morteza. But yeah, hate to see that happen. Something beyond his control. You know. Okay. Speaking of the CrossFit Games, from someone who is trying to make his first trip to the games, instead of got uh, Cole Sager, who was what, an 11-time
11 straight.
11 straight cross. That's insane. I still
Yeah.
and I say that every time his name comes up, I always say this. I remember meeting that guy at the open announcement in 2014 in Seattle with Rory Zambard. Who was like, "Hey, this is Cole Sager. He's new this year. He's gonna do really well." I was like, "Hey, Cole, nice to meet you, man." He's like, "Nice to meet you. How you doing?" We talked a little bit, and little did I know then I was talking 11 straight.
Yeah. What a run.
God, that guy was, and then the comebacks that he had, and just some of the best moments, and that guy's awesome, and just a
Yeah.
good human being too, right? Like that's
Really is.
so.
He's
Anyway,
just-
go ahead.
I was just gonna say he as far as like someone that like I think could be in a really good mentorship role, and this
Mm.
next kind of headline kind of proves it for future athletes of the
Mhm.
sport. I think he's there's a handful of like 1-1 picks, but he's one of them for
Oh,
this kind of reason and for what he was able to do with his career for sure.
if there were a Hall of Fame, like he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he never won, he's 11 straight kind of gets you there. Well, this
Yeah.
is what Cole put on Instagram. This is dear 2025 CrossFit Games rookies, a letter from Cole Sager. So I don't know, I'll read through some of this, but
Yeah.
Cole wrote, "Time will stand still this next month. You'll pack your days with more work and deeper mental engagement than you probably ever have. You'll feel the urge to obsess over everything, analyze every detail, and dial in every 1%. You don't need to. Honor the hard work you are doing, and all that will follow. What's far more important is being present and enjoying the journey." Now, that paragraph right there, it just take that, put it where you're going to see it every day, because that's just a great way to approach life.
Yeah.
That is, and I have learned that way. I unfortunately like have learned that the hard way a lot of times.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just
Mhm.
you can have people tell you that, but until you realize like that is just great advice. Okay, next, moving on. 11 straight CrossFit Games went by in what felt like a few short years. So be where your feet are. Be present. Don't carry the weight of pressure. It's not real. You are capable. Know that. You'll perform to the level of your preparation, so prepare well and be content with that. If you're proud of your preparation, then you should undoubtedly be proud of your performance at the games. Enjoy games training. It's a season like no other. Nobody is actually training as much as social media makes it seem. Trust me, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Hit
Yeah.
your rest days. Don't overdo it. Let your body come into the games healthy and eager to compete. Do your best to make the most of every moment. Laugh. Connect with the judges. Thank the volunteers. Take every picture with every fan that asks.
Mm.
It's kind of the first time I'm reading this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
When you step onto the competition floor for the first time, look up, take it all in. Very few people get the honor of displaying their craft in front of thousands. It's a privilege to feel those butterflies. You're ready to unleash them. Wow,
Yeah.
So well
that's
written.
great.
Oh man, that should just be, like you have the rookie symposium at the NFL
Yes,
and they always have a
yes.
speech that speech should be plastered on the very first page of the
Mm.
you're welcome to the CrossFit Games type thing for
Yeah.
rookies.
And I
Yeah.
think what's good for Cole is that he had 11 straight to realize that. You know, and if you do it long enough, like you realize, okay, yeah, I have to. This is the days are numbered here. Like this ain't gonna last forever. I have to start paying attention. And I guarantee you, that was not Cole's perspective after year 1 or 2,
No.
because there
Yeah.
was still all this runway. You tend to have those realizations when you're towards the back half of things, and you start to realize, man, I've been around a while. I better start enjoying this. So
Yeah.
again, you can tell people that. You can tell people that, but if you're going for the first time, like Cole said, man, take that moment to appreciate what you've done. And that goes for everybody. And we used to talk about that too on the broadcast team, Tommy. Like, and because I kind of started to have the same experience. Like, man, we would do that thing every year uh, before the game started, where we'd have a huge broadcast meeting and people would raise their hand. Right? How many people is your first game? And a handful of people. Second,
Yeah.
third, fourth, fifth, and then all these hands would go down. Right, and then there'd be a couple handful of people, 10th, maybe 3 or 4 people would have hands up, handful.
Mhm.
And you realize it's like, don't take those moments for granted anymore when you're hanging out in the green room and you're laughing with people. And because it's next year ain't guaranteed, it's not like,
Mhm.
don't take those moments for granted. Don't take each other for granted. Don't take the people that if you're a fan and you're going, don't take that for granted if you're going with friends, because you may not be there with those people again in that setting, being able to celebrate the sport and the methodology that you love, so
Yeah.
I, that is awesome from Cole Sager. I might print that out. I don't know. I love that. Like, as the first time I read it. So bravo. I was like, that's something that I'm mad I didn't write.
Yeah.
Ah!
And I'll say this, and that's a lot coming from you, Sean, because you always gave a good speech at the front end of that broadcasting compound,
Thanks, man.
like big meeting. Because there was a handful full of people that were tapped to speak, and you always gave a very good, concise speech just about being on time and doing your job and taking pride in that. Oh my God. I'm sorry. My son just got carried by looking like he was in a horror film because he had beets for dinner. He's just
Oh,
covered in
no.
just covered in red. Yeah, and it was beets and berries. Wow, that's
Um,
hilarious. But yeah, no, and you always did a great job of that, and then I think Cole fits this naturally. And what was also great, Morning Chalk Up and Barben put out an addendum type article where they included
Mhm.
that quote and also some quotes from vets giving advice to rookie classes, and there's some great pieces, some Sam Briggs about making
cool.
friendships, Emily Rolfe about like uh competing with the girls that you looked up to. And then, I mean, Sam Dancer talked about like how overstimulating the week could be and take advantage of time to rest. And then there's the most Brent Fikowski perfect Brent answer. And there, all these people are talking about like all these beautiful things, and Brent goes, "You never know what the branding guidelines are and how many clothing articles you're given to wear. So I'd recommend bringing extra unbranded underwear and socks.
Uh, God bless.
Also bring
We love
a
him.
weight also bring a weight belt, a hat, and sunglasses that are unbranded so that you can easily cover the logos with tape.
That's
And be sure to
fantastic.
pack a generous amount of extra food for the day." It's
That's a veteran move, though. Like,
it,
that's stuff
it
you don't
is
think about.
it's
I
so
remember
practical.
talking to an athlete a couple years ago, and all they had was frozen meals, and they couldn't eat any of them because wherever they kept being corralled in, there was no microwave.
Oh man, come on.
Yeah.
Why would they think? Okay, first of all, why would you think there's a microwave in the corral area?
Rookie mistake.
That's yeah,
You don't know what you don't know, Sean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Microwaves are not ubiquitous to the CrossFit Games. Like, they're just not. But and then the last thing I'll say is, like, if you really, I don't know if they're going to do it again this year, and I hope that they do. But if you're going to the Rogue Invitational and you go to that dinner where they have the athletes there, they were last year. What they were doing is it was great because I tagged along on one. Is they gave the fans a tour, and it was by like some OG athletes like Hackenbrook and Chan, and Dan Bailey was there, and Sam Briggs, and they were just talking, like, swapping stories about the things that happen off the competition floor.
Hmm.
And Matt Chan's got a great one that oh,
Matt
I hope we
Chan.
get him on one time to tell it because it's one of the all-time best ones. Um, but
Some of
this,
my favorite stories have come from him, by the way.
oh
Some
yeah,
of the old from the
that guy,
old regionals days and him
yep.
him monkeying around. Oh,
Mhm.
He's a good dude.
He is a
Man
yeah.
of his
fantastic
life.
dude. But yeah, so if you have a chance to do that at the Rogue Invitational, I hope they do that again because it was such a cool experience. And like I said, my brother and his now wife came over last year to hang out with me for a couple days in Scotland, and they had never been to that. I said, yeah, let's go on the tour. So it was fun for me, to hear all that and to hear the athletes talk about that stuff. Because again, it is the competition's outstanding, and you should be proud that you're there, and you need to go out and give it your all. But take the time to enjoy those moments off of the outside of the action. Which, and I know I don't want to speak for you, Tommy, but I know when I think back to our time at the games, my most fond memories are the stuff that happened in the green room and the hanging out with
Oh,
people and that kind of, and just the
100%.
stories that Joe Novello coming in and his knee locks up and he's yelling on the floor of the production truck, and just all the wise
God.
that Pat Sherwood used to have, and cracking everyone up right I think those are the things that I wouldn't trade for the world.
Yeah, and honestly, those are the things that become more and more prominent in my mind as the years kind of go by. Like the event stuff and some of the other things start to fade, and just those moments spent in like quote unquote in the trenches with the people, like when you're exhausted and you're
Mhm.
like, everyone's kind of pouring their heart into it. That's yeah, that's the best.
I've told this before, and then we'll move on. I know we're kind of going down a rabbit hole here, but it was my first year of the CrossFit Games. So 2012 was my first year as a member of the broadcast team, and that was the year they did Camp Pendleton.
Mm.
And I know I've told the story before, but some people may not have heard it. But at looking back on it now, it's not that funny. But I laughed for like 30 minutes over this. It's because you're just tired and you're just punchy. But we were getting ready to go out and do an event later that I think it was maybe Friday night. It was on Friday night, so it was after Pendleton. And Brian
Hmm.
Diaz was one of the athletes who was at Pendleton who they because of what happened in 2011, they did make it a rule to where if you needed assistance, you could like grab the jet ski or you could ask for assistance. And Brian Diaz during the swim portion of Pendleton he was hanging onto the jet ski for an inordinate amount of time. Like he was on that, like every
Yeah.
time we cut, he was on the jet ski. He was grabbing the jet ski. And so we go. I'll never forget this. I don't know why I was not doing the early heats for whatever reason. And I'm in the green room getting ready to go out, and Pat is back there with us. This is at the old StubHub Center, so it was in that corner suite overlooking the soccer stadium. And Brian Diaz, like they're doing the athlete intros, and they put Brian Diaz on camera, and his Pat Sherwood delivery goes, "Brian Diaz, winner of the jet ski touch," and I lost it again. Not super funny. I mean, it's funny, but
Yeah.
I laughed all the way as I was walking from the green room to the broadcast booth. I laughed the whole time. And I don't know.
It's so perfect. It's such perfect, Pat.
Because it's
It
Pat, that is the one like the if you know Pat, you know his humor and it's very dry and his delivery is fantastic. And so that was yeah, that was great.
Oh man, it's so good.
Anyway, let's move on to people who someone who also is going to be at the CrossFit Games, and that is Alex Gazan, who recently announced that she's going to withdraw. Congratulations to Carolyn Prevost, who is going. I'm a big
Mhm.
Carolyn Prevost fan. I think if
Yeah.
you don't know Carolyn Prevost's history, she is one of the most decorated athletes in all of CrossFit. I think she's got
Mhm,
like 11 national titles in 4 different sports, something insane like that.
mhm.
Uh, but I remember talking to Justin Kotler a while ago, and we were just kind of this was right after Alex had gotten hurt and is when he said, yeah, maybe she'll go. She might
Mhm.
be ready to go, but I do think the fact that Tia is there is that was probably the final. We're not even going to give this a try.
Hmm. I mean, I think it was kind of like, how it's one of those things where like, yeah, your day to day, like on an injury report, right? Like they're gonna go out and their game day decision and they're gonna test it out and see how it feels. And it's probably like first couple days in the gym, if you feel like, man, I don't have the confidence behind this and maybe this isn't the great, then that means that's gonna carry over to the run up. And rather than putting that stress, you know,
Agreed. And and Lauren, you've talked to Justin plenty of times about this. How highly he thinks of Alex Kazan and where her ceiling is and what she is capable of doing when she is 100%. There is no reason to rush that return when next year, if Tia is not there, it's wide open at the top, and Alex Gazan will 100% be one of the women who has a chance to stand on top of the podium. I mean, I know Justin Kotler believes that. I think Alex believes that. And when you look at what she's been able to do so far and some of the numbers that she puts up, there's a very compelling argument to be made for her one day winning the games.
She's got this great trajectory right now. Why risk delaying that just to sit out one season where she can get her body healthy, do the things she needs to do, maybe take an actual off season for at least a little bit of time and then regroup and then go full throttle next year.
Yeah. All right.
Not
Well,
even next year. There's still a lot on the horizon for her.
exactly. I mean, you got
yeah.
the Rogue is coming up. You
Mhm.
have a lot of Paloozas in September.
World Fitness Project finals.
Stuff like there's
And
still
and
plenty.
tour stop
What
too.
And
what
there you go.
okay, I was gonna ask if, what would be her deadline for deciding whether she competes at 2 or not?
I
Because
actually
that's
don't
just a
know,
couple
but
weeks after the games.
it's at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah, so probably, like, 3 more weeks.
it's like, yeah, 3 more weeks. So 3 more weeks can make a big difference,
Mhm.
especially
Yeah,
for soft tissue stuff.
exactly. So best of luck to Alex because
Yeah.
thank God it wasn't worse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
her
Thank
and
God she's
Tate.
in a position to make this decision.
Yeah,
To
that's
be like,
true.
yeah, I couldn't, I had a chance, and that decision could have been made for her a while ago. So looking forward to seeing her back one day. So.